The Steadicam Pilot, a new Steadicam model for cameras in the 1 to 10 pound weight range. Highly flexible, highly expandable, precision engineered. The components that make up the Pilot are the sled, the arm, the vest, and the cummerbund. Oh, sorry, no cummerbund with this one. Let's begin by looking at the sled. It's the centerpiece of the Steadicam Pilot, and the part with which you will enjoy the most interaction. The camera goes on top, the 3-axis low-friction gimbal allows it to turn in any direction, and the monitor is always visible at the bottom. Balancing the sled takes some practice, but it's based on very simple concepts. It's just like balancing a pencil on your finger. If the pencil is level, that point where your finger touches it is the center of gravity, or CG. If you add something to the pencil, the CG moves, and you move your finger to find the new CG. When balancing the pilot sled, you move the gimbal to find the CG, and the sled remains level. If you add something, take something away, or change the length of the center post, the CG moves, and you move the gimbal to find the new CG. The sled should be slightly bottom heavy so that it hangs upright by itself. That is to say, with the center of gravity just below the gimbal. That's also where you put one of your hands when operating, and the other hand can hang on to the gimbal handle. You can find out how bottom heavy the sled is by testing what's called the drop time. In spite of what it sounds like, that's not the time it takes for you to collapse from exhaustion, because you can wear the Steadicam Pilot all day and not be fatigued. No, the drop time is how long it takes for the center post to go from being held horizontal to passing through vertical. This should be somewhere around 2 seconds. The length of the drop time determines how much effort it takes to tilt the sled and how strong its tendency to hang vertically. With a relatively slow drop time, it may be more difficult to keep the sled vertical. Speed up the drop time, the sled becomes more bottom heavy, keeping the camera more level when at rest. So you may think there's no reason to use a slow drop time. However, with a quicker drop time, tilting the bottom heavy sled takes a good amount of effort. Also, the sled will tend to pendulum when you accelerate it through space. But with a slower drop time, tilting becomes much easier. The kind of drop time you choose for your own operating is a personal choice. In any of these scenarios, you can move the gimbal below the center of gravity to make the sled top-heavy. Now your camera is in low mode, and you operate just the same with your hand below the gimbal. Before you mount the camera, find its center of gravity by balancing it on something sturdy. Then line up the camera's CG so that it's a little behind the center of the post, about ½ an inch. You may find that the sled doesn't want to hang vertically. Compensate for this by moving the battery to get it closer to vertical. Then use the top stage knobs to fine-tune the balance until the sled hangs vertically. If it seems like it won't quite make it, you may need to move the monitor. Then move the battery again, and once more adjust the top stage knobs. This can be a humbling process, but be patient, and remember, it's more afraid of you than you are of it. The camera, the monitor, the battery, these are the movable masses on the Pilot, and all other Steadicam models. But the Pilot has a trick of its own. It has something more, something that makes it totally unique. And here it is. Oh, come on! That's more like it! This is the Pilot's secret weapon, expanding its capabilities and making it more flexible than anything else in its weight class. Simple metal weights, the same ones that come with the handheld Steadicam Merlin. You use them to add mass to any part of the Pilot, for pure configurational bliss. Put them on the top to raise the CG when flying lighter cameras. Put them on the bottom, away from the center post, where they increase inertia and make the sled even more stable. Very useful for windy days or when you're zoomed in. It will behave more like a big Steadicam, less whippy. Plus, having the weights at the bottom will lower the CG, so with a long center post, you can push the lens higher in high mode and lower in low mode. Use as many weights as you like, so long as you stay within the pilot's weight capacity. The pilot will hold up to 10 pounds of camera and additional weights. That's what the arm can support. While operating the pilot, you may notice that the arm is awesome. That's because it's awesome! It's based on the same geometry as the bigger Steadicam arms, so it has that famous effortless lift and nearly as much boom range. The arm will take the weight of the sled while seamlessly absorbing all the bumps created by walking around. There's no need to give it any help, just stand back and let it wow you. The arm should lift so that it is slightly up from level. If it doesn't hang there by itself, use these knobs to change the lifting power. Adjust the section nearest to the sled first, then the section nearest to the operator so that it tracks with the first section. The knobs are easiest to turn when the arm is slightly above level, so you may need to push it down or pull it up to adjust the lift. Lastly, we have the remarkably adaptable vest. It will fit just about anyone, unless you don't think you look good in black. Put it on nice and snug, the center spar aligned with your sternum, and the hip pads right on your hip bones. Consult the Quick Start Guide for more about posture and adjusting the vest to fit you. There is one last consideration about balance that we've been avoiding. If the sled hangs vertically when it's at rest, you have achieved static balance. But start rotating the sled and it may no longer be balanced. Why does this happen? No one knows. Actually, we do know. Here's why. If that wasn't clear, don't worry about it. Just know that there are mysterious forces at work when the sled is rotating. Fortunately, there's a quick way to put those forces to rest and achieve what's called dynamic balance. Give the sled a little spin. If it's thrown off balance, move the battery just slightly and the camera to compensate. Give it another spin. Is it better? If not, try moving everything in the opposite direction. Keep spinning and adjusting until it remains reasonably vertical while rotating. There, that's much better. There's no need to spin it quickly, just a gentle spin will do. For more detail, download the Dynamic Balance Primer at Steadicam.com. Under Technical Info, Dynamic Primer Manual. You may wish to print a copy for your convenience. We've covered a lot of material, but this is just scratching the surface of what can be done with the Steadicam Pilot. If you'd like to develop your skills with the benefit of personal instruction, go to tiffin.com to find out about our weekend workshops. You may also be interested in the recently remastered 2-hour EFP video training manual on DVD, which goes a bit deeper into the art, theory, and practice of Steadicam operating. The EFP video is available for purchase at tiffin.com. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the Steadicam Pilot. It may be the most fun you're ever allowed to have.